Sans is an odd little roach. If you are watching this video, you know who Sans is. He's universal. He's a fandom icon. He's also a fascinating study in a fandom's ability to distort a character and their perception. Sans has to be incredibly powerful, depressed, all-knowing, and godlike because, well, this animation meme told me so, and so did this one, and so did this comic, and so did this video, and so did this comic dub, and so did this animation, and so did this fan game, and so did this other animation. Let's take a quick look into his awareness of timelines. In a lot of popular fan creations, Sans is depicted as having intimate and innate knowledge of timelines. When I say intimate knowledge of timelines, I mean the kind of knowledge the player or Flowey has. They know exactly when a reset or load happens. And Sans does have this intimate knowledge, but nowhere in Undertale is it implied Sans can access this knowledge innately. In fact, the implication is that he has to consult some kind of device in order to gain that knowledge. Of course, videos and Tumblr posts have already been made declaring that falsehood, but there is more. There is a far grander misconception, one I never see talked about. Sans doesn't teleport. He stops time. In fact, there is far greater evidence for his ability to stop time than his ability to teleport. Allow me to explain how you are wrong about Sans. I will quickly give you a basic understanding of what Sans is before we continue. He is a skeleton in both Undertale and Deltarune. This video focuses on his appearance in Undertale. One day, sometime before the game began, he mysteriously showed up in Snowdin with his brother Papyrus. There are several other mysterious things about him. A secret lab behind his house, his odd and unexplained connection to Alphys, his odd and unexplained connection to Gaster, and the, what seems to be, far grander powers he possesses compared to any other monster in the underground. I will be focusing on that last one. Sans displays inconsistent behavior with movement. Let's take the first time you meet Sans. If you walk to the right after meeting Papyrus, which you almost certainly did, Sans will leave the area to the left. 2 rooms later, he is ahead of you. This kind of oddity is present throughout all of Undertale, like here in Snowdin, or here, or here, or here. Sans also takes Frisk through shortcuts. This is walking in the incorrect direction or into a wall and magically ending up inside of the establishment Sans intends to take Frisk to. So, he must be teleporting, right?
But there is something else Sans could be doing. I ask you this, dear viewer.
Have you ever watched the OVA for JoJo's Part 3? In the climactic fight between Jotaro and Dio, Jotaro comes to realize that Dio was stopping time. They showcase this by having us experience the time stop from Jotaro's perspective. Dio is there 1 second, and then he is gone the next. To an unknowing eye, it might appear as though Dio is teleporting. No. To further the JoJo analogy, it's similar to when Dio was messing with Polnareff on the stairs. Sans, instead of teleporting, leads you to believe he is teleporting by walking into an odd area, stopping time, carrying you to the entrance of a particular restaurant, and then resuming time. Sans also stops time in the secret scene inside of Judgment Hall. If you reach Judgment Hall without killing any monsters, you can do some chicanery in order to get access to Sans' room and then to his lab. Here is what is peculiar about this interaction. Odd, isn't it? Opening the door to Sans' room results in a, quote, prank across time and space. Sans stops time, walks across Judgment Hall, places the key on Frisk's keyring, walks back to where he previously stood, and resumes time. Similarly, he must then have done some sort of time stop silliness in order to get Frisk locked on that treadmill. Sans stops time during his fight. In order to properly set the stage for this argument, we will need to look at a regular fight in Undertale. The bullets are telegraphed. You can see this in every fight in the game. The bullets will appear outside of the box, you are given a brief second to prepare for an attack, but most importantly, these attacks do not intermingle. Let's use this Frogget as an example. Frogget has 2 different attacks. the fly attack, and the frog attack. You will either have to dodge the flies, or you will have to dodge the frog. Once the attack is finished, you return to the battle menu and continue the fight. Contrast this with Sans, who, later in his fight, will begin to black out the screen and string together completely different attacks without allowing the player to see any kind of setup. It is almost as if he is stopping time, setting up an attack, resuming time, stopping time again, setting up a completely different attack, then resuming time again, and so on. We can further contrast this behavior with other attacks in his fight as well. We see the bones show up here, but not here. We see the Gaster Blasters fly in here, but not here.
What?
I hear a wise scholar raising his cap and flapping it about wildly.
If Sand can stop time, why doesn't he just create an undodgeable attack?
I have 2 rebuttals for this. 1. It's a game, idiot. You have to be able to beat it. 2. There is only one character in this game that creates a truly undodgeable attack, and that is Flowey. Allow me this brief tangent. If it is true that Flowey is the only character that creates an undodgeable attack, what is different about Flowey compared to the other characters in this game? He isn't a monster, and he lacks a soul. I think there could be some merit to the idea that not being a monster or lacking a soul of your own lets you break the rules of a fight and create attacks that aren't dodgeable. It's pretty neat.
But the same scholar from before pipes up, fiddling with his glasses madly. What about when you get dunked on? That's not dodgeable, Rancid.
Yeah, it is. You can dodge being dunked on by not sparing Sans. Finally, the infamous Grillby scene, in which Sans explicitly stops time. Frisk and Sans walk in. Sans is making awkward conversation when suddenly the lights cut out. All movement in the bar ceases. A spotlight shines down upon Frisk and Sans. Sans continues to blabber. As the conversation fades, the light and the life of the bar fades back in. Sans is quite explicitly stopping time here. However, this is easily dismissed as set dressing. However, I believe if the assertion that this scene is to be taken literally is accompanied by my previous assertions, it is less a throwaway and more a genuine consideration. There is all of my evidence. I hope you can see now that Sans' powers are not as hard cast iron as you previously believed. Every bit of Sans' character is shrouded in a thick layer of misty smog, and that includes what he is capable of magic-wise. But why does everyone believe his teleportation is a given in the first place anyway? There are 2 big reasons why this misinterpretation happened: the fandom and the actual conventions of stopping time. Long, and I mean long, has the fandom held dear the idea that Sans can teleport. It's seen in basically every single fan creation that involves him, which is most of them. I also think that the mass misinterpretation or misrepresentation of Sans through things like the alternate universes contribute to people's complacency when it comes to questioning ideas regarding his powers. To compound upon that, when the audience does not experience a stop in time, it looks like teleporting. It is also not often that we, as the audience, are not included when a character stops time. So the conclusion that Sans is teleporting becomes the more natural one to make. Think of the last time a piece of media, other than Undertale, explicitly leaves out the audience from a character's ability to stop time, never once explaining it. Why can Sans stop time? I don't know. Although I bet it has something to do with this guy. My goal in pointing out what I believe to be a common misconception is to start a kind of dialogue. I would love to have a discussion about our agreements or disagreements, so please post about them in the comments. Perhaps Sans can teleport and stop time, or perhaps you think all of what I said is hogwash. Please, tell me.
Also, another reason I point this out is time, or time travel, or time stopping, or space-time might play a big role in Deltarune later on, even more so if you subscribe to the idea that Sans is from Deltarune originally.
To conclude, Sans does not teleport. He stops time. In considering all of the instances where Sans teleports, along with a few other odd interactions throughout the game, it actually makes more sense for him to stop time. This mass misinterpretation happened because if one doesn't experience a stop in time, it appears as teleportation, and because his teleportation became a fact inside of the fandom. We have no idea why he can stop time, but I would wager to say Gaster is involved somehow.
If you enjoyed my video, I would really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed.
For those wondering where the Gaster video is, it's coming. I decided to postpone it because of a certain announcement.